Have you ever felt different, like you had a special purpose? Maybe you've already wondered what makes certain people truly brilliant. We're not talking about having the right answers or being the smartest person in the room. We're talking about feeling the world in a different way, seeing details that others don't notice, having a mind that doesn't rest, always looking for more. And if that description suits you, then perhaps you are about to discover that you possess a hidden intelligence, a latent talent waiting to be revealed. Over the next few minutes, we'll explore 11 signs that experts have identified in people with unusual minds. Each of these signs is an invitation to look within, to observe your own characteristics and abilities. And who knows, you might realize that you have a lot more in common with geniuses like Albert Einstein, Da Vinci, and other visionaries than you ever imagined. So don't leave. Each sign brings a new layer of depth, and the last revelation could be the missing key to understanding yourself. Hold on tight and prepare for a journey of self-discovery like no other. Curiosity is the first door that opens to exceptional minds. Imagine that intense desire to understand the why of everything around you. A curiosity that is never satisfied and that sees mystery in even the most common questions. Do you feel this? People like this never stop questioning, exploring. They are driven by an internal force that leads them to seek every answer, to get lost in books, theories, and stories from distant lives. Leonardo da Vinci, one of the greatest geniuses who ever lived, knew this. For him, curiosity was the heart of knowledge, the reason he went beyond the boundaries of painting and explored areas such as science, mathematics, and even inventions incomprehensible for his time. Da Vinci showed us that the desire to know can take us to worlds we never imagined, and perhaps you share that same spark. But after all, why are we so curious? Maybe it's because, on some level, our brain knows that the right answers can change everything. So don't ignore that voice inside you. Follow your instincts and allow your curiosity to take you to places few have the courage to go. In a world that is constantly changing, one of the greatest skills is adaptability. A brilliant mind not only accepts the unexpected, she embraces chaos and finds a way to thrive in it. Think about the most challenging moments in your life. How did you respond? If you've managed to find a solution amidst the confusion, then you have a valuable skill. Scientists have discovered that emotionally intelligent people, that is, those who have a deep understanding of their emotions and how to manage them, are more adaptable and resilient. They don't run away from the problem. Rather, they face it and shape themselves accordingly. As the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius said, "Adapt to the natural flow of things." This mindset is what sets exceptional thinkers apart. They become whatever it takes to overcome every obstacle. Imagine yourself as water, flowing wherever it is needed, going around rocks and filling empty spaces. Instead of rebelling against the unexpected, you shape yourself, find ways to use what you have, and create the best you can. The next time life challenges you, remember, your ability to adapt is one of your greatest strengths. One of the greatest signs of intelligence is the ability to simplify the complex. We're not talking about oversimplifying, but finding the essence amidst the chaos. Have you ever been able to explain something difficult to someone clearly and directly? If so, perhaps you have the gift of translating the intricate into something accessible, a skill that few have. Albert Einstein once said, "If you can't explain something simply, it's because you don't understand it well." Adrien, this is the power of a mind that truly understands, of an intelligence that goes beyond superficial information and touches the essence. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught, true knowledge does not come from ready-made answers, but from the humility of recognizing that we do not know everything and thus genuinely seeking to understand. Imagine explaining the internet to someone who has never used it. What would it be like to translate something so complex into something simple? This is a skill that requires clarity of thought and in-depth knowledge. Have you tried? Mastering simplification is not just a practical skill, it is a test of intelligence. True intelligence is not just knowing a lot, it's about knowing enough to recognize what you still need to learn. That's the beauty of self-awareness. Truly wise people are not afraid to admit that they don't know everything, and this humility is one of the greatest signs of a mature mind. This phenomenon is called the Dunning-Kruger effect. Those who know less tend to believe they know everything, while those who really know realize the depth of what they still don't know. Great thinkers like Marco Aurelio reminded us that learning begins when we are willing to admit our limitations. It's like having a mental GPS that keeps us on the right path without letting us get lost in pride. Think about your own life. How many times have you been faced with a situation where you had to say, "I don't know, but I want to learn"? If this has ever happened to you, celebrate, as this openness to continuous learning is the key to a deeper and more genuine understanding of life. The world seems to have forgotten the importance of connecting with the emotions of others. In an environment where everyone is running, few stop to really understand the pains and joys of the people around them. Empathy, then, is a skill that has become rare and precious, a true sign of emotional intelligence. According to psychologist Daniel Goleman, emotional intelligence is crucial to success in life. Empathetic people are able to understand and respect other people's points of view, recognizing other people's emotions and adjusting their actions based on that. It's like having an emotional radar that guides us towards more authentic and meaningful communication. Can you feel other people's pain? It's not an easy task, but it's a skill that transforms relationships and allows you to understand people deeply. Empathy is not just kindness, it is a gift that strengthens our relationships and connects us on a level that goes beyond words. Is there anything more liberating than being able to change your mind without feeling threatened? Mental flexibility is one of the greatest signs of an intelligence that is always evolving, ready to adapt its beliefs and accept new truths. Often, we get stuck in what we already know and close ourselves off to new ideas. However, flexible-minded people are open to questioning their own convictions. As the Stoic Marcus Aurelius said, "If someone can prove me wrong, I'm willing to change my mind." Wisdom begins by accepting that sometimes we are wrong. Imagine if you could turn every discussion into an opportunity to learn rather than just defending your ideas. This openness makes him not only wiser, but also more human. And you, are you prepared to question your own certainties? Critical thinking is a rare and powerful differentiator. While most people accept things as they are, brilliant minds question, analyze, and seek deeper truths. Have you ever found yourself distrusting the information that everyone seems to blindly accept? If so, this reveals a sharp and skeptical intelligence that cannot be easily manipulated. Carl Sagan, scientist and great advocate of critical thinking, said that science and democracy depend on healthy critical thinking. This superpower, however, goes beyond science. It applies to all areas of life. It's not about being negative or cynical, but about having the courage to question and look for evidence. It's as if your mind was a filter capable of separating what is real from what is illusion. So think, how many times have you used this skill to better understand the world around you? Maybe you noticed lies, manipulations, or simply found new paths. This critical sense is like a compass that helps us find the right path, even when everything seems confusing. Creativity is, without a doubt, one of the most intriguing hallmarks of intelligence. It manifests itself not only in art, but in any field where a new solution is needed. A creative mind can see connections between seemingly unconnected ideas, finding solutions where others only see problems. Have you ever surprised someone with a totally unusual idea? According to scholars, highly creative people have an unusual capacity for lateral thinking, that is, to see beyond common logic and explore new possibilities. For them, thinking is like a construction game, where any piece can transform into something new and unexpected. It is this type of mind that leads humanity to invent, innovate, and create the unimaginable. If you've noticed that your mind wanders and gets lost in unconventional ideas, celebrate. This is a sign that you have a vibrant and unique intelligence, ready to build new worlds and challenge the limitations of common thinking. Humor is an underrated characteristic of intelligence, but few things require as much mental mastery as the ability to find humor in the most adverse situations. People with a sense of humor are able to see life in a light and unique way. Have you ever noticed how a simple smile can transform even the most difficult times? Studies reveal that humor is directly linked to creativity and emotional intelligence. Having a good sense of humor means being able to play with ideas, connect thoughts, and see the world from an unconventional perspective. In the midst of challenges, a smile or a well-placed joke can diffuse tension and create an instant connection with others. Think about great figures in history, such as Oscar Wilde and Mark Twain, known for their sharp minds and intelligent humor. Humor is the art of transforming adversity into lightness, and if you have this ability, it means you have an emotional intelligence that goes beyond the ordinary. In today's world, where distractions are constant and focus is almost a rarity, having a deep concentration capacity is a true superpower. Some people can immerse themselves in a task in such a way that time seems to stop, as if they were completely absorbed in their own bubble of concentration. Psychologists call this state flow, a term created by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. In flow, the mind is so immersed in what it is doing that nothing else matters. This skill allows you to solve complex problems, reach your creative peak, and produce your best work. It is the state in which great inventions, revolutionary ideas, and memorable works of art are born. Have you ever experienced this feeling? If so, this is one of the greatest proofs of your intelligence. Being in flow is a sign that your brain is capable of focusing at deep levels, finding a perfect balance between challenge and skill. Take advantage of this skill and practice it whenever you can. This concentration could be the secret to achieving exceptional achievements. Perhaps the most important sign of a brilliant mind is the ability to learn from one's mistakes. Truly intelligent people see failure not as an end, but as an essential lesson. Each mistake is a new chance to adjust course and improve. How many times have you faced a mistake and, instead of falling down, you stood up stronger? This concept is part of the growth mindset, defended by psychologists such as Carol Dweck. Having a growth mindset means seeing mistakes as learning opportunities, which allows you to constantly evolve. Great geniuses like Thomas Edison believed that every failure was just a step on the road to success. After all, it is through mistakes that we discover our limits and learn to overcome them. Remember, there is no failure, only learning. Every mistake made is a step closer to wisdom and mastery, and the more you embrace this idea, the more resilient and powerful you become. So the next time you make a mistake, use it as fuel to grow and discover how far your intelligence can take you. Cultivating curiosity daily is like watering a plant. The more we feed our thirst for knowledge, the more we grow. Maybe you thought that curiosity is just a natural characteristic of some people, but the truth is that it can be developed. A simple question, like, "Why is the sky blue?" awakens our mind and activates dormant areas of the brain. And you, have you allowed yourself to question what seems obvious? Practicing curiosity requires us to be present in the moment. The modern world, full of distractions and quick responses, makes many of us accept things without question. However, those who cultivate the habit of asking find a treasure trove of new perspectives. This type of curiosity makes us more perceptive and critical, ready to understand details that others ignore. Try making curiosity a daily habit. Ask simple questions about what you see, research something new every week, or challenge yourself to learn a different skill. Every question you ask yourself is like a small key that opens doors to previously hidden knowledge. Who knows what you might discover by nurturing this genuine and constant curiosity? Fear of failure is one of the biggest blocks to curiosity. Many times we fail to explore something because we are afraid of making mistakes or appearing inexperienced. But a truly curious mind understands that failure is an essential part of learning. Have you ever stopped trying something for fear of failing? Remember, the greatest discoverers were also great wanderers. Imagine the great inventions and discoveries that would never have happened if their creators were afraid of making mistakes. Each mistake provides an opportunity to adjust course and try something new. Curiosity gives us the courage to go beyond our limits, seeing mistakes as a step along the way, not as an obstacle. Try to reverse your thinking about failure. Instead of avoiding it, ask yourself what you can learn from each attempt. Each experience, whether success or failure, strengthens your mindset and expands your ability to see beyond. After all, a curious mind sees failure as a chance to start over with even more knowledge and clarity. Being adaptable is not just about adjusting to new circumstances. It also involves the ability to adapt to different types of people. Social intelligence is a rare skill that allows you to understand the nuances of emotions and personalities around you. How do you react when dealing with people who are different from you? Each interaction can be an opportunity for learning and growth. Think about how empathy and adaptability go hand in hand. When we can put ourselves in someone else's shoes, we are adapting emotionally. This ability makes us more resilient and connected, strengthening our relationships and creating bonds that go beyond superficiality. To exercise this intelligence, try to observe people's reactions and adjust your responses. This doesn't mean changing who you are, but showing respect and consideration for each individual's unique experience. The ability to adapt to different personalities is a sign of deep empathy and maturity, a skill that, when practiced, transforms lives and strengthens connections. Mental flexibility is one of the most valuable skills we can cultivate. It allows us to adjust quickly, find innovative solutions, and survive in a world that changes every moment. But how to strengthen this flexibility? Start by questioning your deep-rooted beliefs and be open to new ideas and perspectives. When was the last time you allowed yourself to change your mind? The practice of flexibility starts with small details. Try getting out of your routine, change something in your daily life. Allow yourself to be surprised. This exercise is like gymnastics for the mind, which prepares us to deal with unpredictable situations and makes us more comfortable with the unknown. The more we practice, the easier it becomes. When we face changes, our mind becomes more alert, ready to learn and grow. And this growth helps us see that, even when we are outside our comfort zone, we are prepared to face whatever comes our way. Flexibility is not about accepting everything passively, but about choosing where and when to adapt so that we can progress without losing our essence. Simplifying is a challenging skill that requires deep understanding. When we are able to understand and explain something complex clearly, we demonstrate mastery over the topic. This skill is not just practical, she demonstrates a finely tuned and conscious intelligence. Can you summarize complex ideas in an accessible way for anyone? Imagine the ability to talk about deep topics without seeming complicated or abstract. People like Albert Einstein and Leonardo da Vinci had a gift for turning difficult concepts into something simple and straightforward. They believed that if we can't explain something simply, then we don't truly understand it. This is the true sign of a clear mind. If you want to develop this skill, start by trying to teach something you know to someone with less knowledge. By doing this, you will be forced to organize your thoughts, find analogies, and explain concepts bluntly. True clarity comes from simplicity and is a skill we can all cultivate with patience and practice. Self-awareness is one of the most admirable qualities in a person, as it demonstrates maturity and a deep perception of oneself. Being aware of your limitations does not mean belittling your abilities, but rather recognizing that there is always room to grow. When was the last time you admitted you were wrong? This is a skill that few possess, but which is essential for personal development. Great sages such as Socrates and Marcus Aurelius already defended the power of humility. They believed that by recognizing our limits, we open the doors to true learning. Wisdom, then, is not in knowing everything, but in knowing that we still have a lot to discover. Cultivating humility begins with the practice of introspection. Set aside a moment in your day to reflect on your attitudes and question your beliefs. This habit strengthens your self-awareness and gives you a sense of clarity, allowing you to grow with purpose and wisdom, learning from each new mistake and each new discovery. Empathy is one of the most beautiful and intense qualities of emotional intelligence, but it also brings challenges. Being empathetic means feeling the emotions of others, but how beneficial can this be without affecting our own peace? Have you ever felt emotionally overwhelmed when trying to help someone? Learning to balance empathy and self-protection is essential for anyone who wants to maintain mental and emotional health. The practice of understanding others can consume our emotional energy as we connect deeply with the pains and joys of others. Being empathetic does not mean taking in everything. It is possible to listen, understand, and help without getting lost in the feelings of others. We need to create an emotional boundary that allows us to help while preserving our own well-being. Start by setting healthy boundaries and setting aside time for self-care. Remember that you can be a source of support for others without sacrificing yourself. Balancing empathy with self-protection is a skill that strengthens not only your relationships, but also your own emotional health. Change is inevitable, but our reaction to it can define the course of our life. People with mental flexibility not only accept changes, they embrace them as opportunities for growth and learning. Do you fight changes or see them as a challenge to be overcome? Each new, unexpected event is a chance to reevaluate and learn something new. Instead of resisting, accept that change is part of life and allows us to evolve. Being flexible does not mean agreeing with everything, but rather knowing how to choose our battles and understanding that each situation has something to teach us. Develop the ability to embrace change by practicing letting go. When we allow ourselves to flow with life, we can see beauty even in the chaos. Resilience and flexibility are powerful tools that help us transform challenges into opportunities, adapting and growing with each new stage. In an era of fast and not always reliable information, critical thinking becomes one of the most important tools. With social media and the excess of content, we need to have the ability to filter what is real and what is manipulation. How do you react when faced with controversial information? This analytical skill is essential to avoid getting carried away by misleading narratives. Practicing critical thinking requires us to question what we read and hear, always looking for reliable sources and concrete evidence. Carl Sagan already warned us about the importance of a skeptical mentality in an informed society. A critical mind does not believe everything it sees. It examines, analyzes, and verifies. By cultivating this practice, we become more immune to external influences and develop a clearer vision of the world. It's like putting on lenses that allow us to see through illusions and see reality more clearly. Critical thinking is the anchor that keeps us steady amid the flood of distorted information. Creativity is much more than an artistic skill. It is a way of thinking that allows you to solve problems in unexpected ways. When we look beyond the obvious and explore different possibilities, we create unique solutions. Have you ever faced a problem and had to think outside the box to solve it? This differentiated approach can transform any challenge. In difficult situations, creativity offers a powerful advantage. It's like having a set of invisible tools that allow us to modify reality as needed. Great inventors and scientists, such as Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla, depended on this ability to transform ideas into reality. This skill is the difference between following the rules or creating new ones. Try to exercise your creativity in small, everyday situations. When you encounter a problem, think of unlikely solutions. Have fun testing alternatives and allow yourself to make mistakes. Creativity is not about having the right answer immediately, but about exploring and experimenting until new ideas emerge. The creative mind is free to pursue what no one has dared before. Lateral thinking is the ability to see connections that, to most, seem non-existent. This type of thinking arises when we set aside linear logic and allow ourselves to explore seemingly disconnected ideas. Have you ever solved something in an unusual way? Maybe you found an answer in something that seemed unrelated to the initial problem. This type of thinking challenges the mind to seek new paths. It's as if the brain works like a maze, where lateral thinking finds secret passages. Many scientists and artists, like Da Vinci, used lateral thinking to find new approaches. They saw possibilities where others saw barriers. To develop lateral thinking, try looking at a problem from different angles. Ask yourself, what if I did something completely different? What if I combined these two ideas? This exercise broadens the mind, making it more flexible and ready to connect points that previously seemed irreconcilable. Humor not only improves our mood, but also helps resolve conflicts and diffuse tensions. The ability to see the funny side of a difficult situation demonstrates emotional intelligence and creativity. Have you ever been able to use a joke to ease a tense moment? This skill allows you to transform heavy emotions into something lighter. Being funny in times of crisis is a rare skill. Instead of fueling conflict, humor disarms and creates a connection with people. Psychologists say that people who know how to use humor are generally more resilient, as they find relief even in the most complicated moments. It's like a natural escape valve for the mind. Practicing humor consciously is a skill that can transform your life. When things get heavy, try to find a funny perspective. Laughing at yourself and situations is one of the most powerful ways to deal with the unexpected. After all, humor reminds us that no matter how difficult things are, there is always a way to see the world more lightly. The state of flow is that moment when we feel completely absorbed in what we do, losing track of time. Being in flow is like reaching a peak of mental performance where everything flows naturally. Have you ever been so focused on something that you lost track of time? This feeling is the mark of exceptional concentration. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, who popularized the concept of flow, described this state as a moment of complete happiness where we are fully engaged. Being at this level of concentration allows us to carry out activities with excellence and creativity. This is the state in which many artists, scientists, and athletes find their best version. If you want to achieve flow, Start by eliminating distractions and dedicate yourself to a task that challenges and motivates you. When we can focus intensely, our minds achieve perfect synchronization, and the result is performance that exceeds our expectations. The practice of flow is like an active meditation, where every detail makes sense. Meditation is one of the most powerful practices for improving concentration, memory, and mental clarity. Many people believe that meditating is difficult or boring, but in reality, it is a mentally strengthening exercise. Have you ever tried meditating or slowing down your mind? This moment of stillness is crucial for a creative and focused mind. Studies show that meditation reduces stress, increases the ability to concentrate, and improves emotional intelligence. When we meditate, we are able to observe our thoughts without reacting to them, which gives us greater control over our emotions. This self-control is what allows for a more balanced intelligence. Start by practicing a few minutes a day. Little by little, you will notice how your mind calms down and how distractions lose strength. Meditation is a workout for your brain, helping you focus better and think more clearly. This practice is an ally for those seeking to understand and enhance their own intelligence. Truly brilliant minds never stop learning. The constant desire to acquire knowledge is one of the most striking characteristics of intelligence. Imagine a mind that is never satisfied, that always seeks a new discovery. Do you consider yourself a person who loves learning? This is the first step towards continuous development. Great geniuses like Leonardo da Vinci had a thirst for knowledge that never ceased. They saw every opportunity as a chance to learn something new, expand their horizons, and constantly improve themselves. This continuous learning process not only strengthens the mind, but also enriches life. Dedicate yourself to learning in any form. Read, study, explore new interests. The important thing is to keep your mind active and always willing to absorb new information. Knowledge is infinite, and each learning contributes to a broader worldview and a more complete intelligence. Resilience is the power to recover after adversity, to face pain and suffering and move forward. Resilient people are not those who never fall, but rather those who always get up. Have you ever been through a difficult time and managed to move on? Resilience is a clear sign of emotional intelligence. Many believe that resilience is a genetic characteristic, but it can be developed. By going through difficulties and learning from them, we strengthen our ability to face future challenges. This skill teaches us that each problem is a step in building a stronger version of ourselves. To increase your resilience, see challenges as opportunities for growth. Learn from your mistakes, value your victories, and know that each obstacle overcome strengthens your mind. Resilience is the key to a life of overcoming and constant evolution, where intelligence is what helps us transform falls into a drive for success. In a world where everything happens quickly, patience is a scarce and extremely valuable virtue. A patient mind is not one that waits without doing anything, but one that knows that great achievements take time. Can you wait for the right moment without letting yourself get carried away by anxiety? Patience is a form of emotional intelligence. Great thinkers have always known the value of patience. They understood that time is an ally, and that the best ideas and achievements slowly mature. Cultivating patience is a way of respecting the process and allowing each step to happen naturally. Practice patience by facing long-term challenges and dealing with the difficulties of everyday life. Avoid acting on impulse and allows each situation to develop at your pace. Patience teaches us to look at the world with more wisdom, as we know that the best rewards come to those who expect the right time. The ego is a barrier that often limits our growth. When we cling to pride and vanity, our mind closes to new ideas and learning. A truly intelligent mind understands that humility is the key to development. Can you admit when you're wrong? This ability is proof of greatness. When giving up the ego, we allow new perspectives to enter. Often, it is necessary to set aside the pride to accept a truth that may contain our beliefs. Humility liberates us, makes us more open and willing to learn from others. Cultivate the detachment to the ego by practicing self-criticism and valuing constant learning. The ego does not need to be eliminated but controlled so that we can grow and see the world without filters. True intelligence arises when we recognize that knowledge is infinite and that there is always something to learn. Emotional self-control is a powerful ability that prevents our impulsive reactions from dominating our actions. Often, our most intense emotions lead us to make decisions we are regretting. An intelligent mind knows how to control these reactions, reflecting before acting. Have you ever regretted something done in the heat of the moment? Self-control is a form of emotional intelligence that allows us to be the masters of our emotions. Stoicism, practiced by philosophers such as Seneca and Marco Aurelio, teaches us how to cultivate this ability, promoting a quiet mind that acts calmly even under pressure. Controlling emotions does not mean suppressing them, but to understand and redirect their energy consciously. To practice emotional self-control, start by observing your reactions and asking yourself what is behind them. The more you exercise this self-observation, the easier it becomes to maintain balance in intense situations. Emotional self-control allows us to be wiser in our decisions, cultivating emotional intelligence that can face any challenge. Silence can be more powerful than any word, and the most perceptive minds understand their value. The ability to hear silence and perceive what is not said reveals an intelligence that sees beyond appearances. Can you feel what words hide? In many situations, silence communicates much more than 1,000 words. In dialogues, knowing how to pause and observing the gestures and expressions of the other is essential for deep communication. Many leaders and sages practice silence as they understand that listening and reflecting allows us to understand more clearly. This is an intelligence that leads us to a deeper level of connection with others. To explore the power of silence, practice active listening. Instead of responding immediately, breathe, observe, and give space to silence between conversations. This reflection space allows thoughts to organize, revealing nuances and intentions. Understanding silence is a skill that connects us with the deepest feelings, enriching our communication and expanding our emotional intelligence. The passion for knowledge is the engine that drives the brightest minds. When we find pleasure in learning, knowledge becomes an adventure, an inexhaustible source of satisfaction and fulfillment. Do you feel an insatiable desire to understand the world? This enthusiasm allows us to go further and explore without limits. Great figures, such as Marie Curie and Carl Sagan, dedicated their lives to science and research for pure passion. This desire to learn and understand the universe has driven discoveries that changed the world. When we have this passion, intelligence expands because we become more willing to face challenges and seek answers that no one dared to look for. Cultivating this passion requires curiosity and an open spirit to the new. Set aside time to explore issues that intrigue you, read on various topics, and allow you to follow your curiosities. Love for knowledge transforms our perspective, making us more attentive and perceptive. With this impulse, each day becomes a growth opportunity. Finding patterns is a skill that goes beyond logical thinking. It is a way of seeing what is behind things, of perceiving connections that others let go. Have you noticed similarities in different situations? This ability is a form of intelligence that allows us to understand the world from a broader perspective. Many scientists and artists can see standards that go unnoticed to others. This radar for subtle connections helps us anticipate problems and find creative solutions. Detecting patterns lets you see the order where there seems to be chaos, a gift that opens the doors for new insights. To strengthen this ability, practice observation. Instead of focusing on the details, look at the whole and look at the similarities. By identifying patterns, you develop a more insightful look that sees beyond the obvious and connects apparently distant points. This is a form of unique intelligence that expands the perception of the world. Respect for nature is not just an environmental issue, it is a form of intelligence that recognizes our interdependence with the planet. Those who value nature understand that it is a source of inspiration and learning. Do you feel connection to the environment around you? This is a skill that makes us more conscious and responsible. When observing nature, we can learn lessons on adaptability, resilience, and balance. Great thinkers, such as Henry David Thoreau, devoted themselves to the natural world and discovered in him a wisdom that goes beyond words. Nature teaches us about cycles, renewal, and the beauty of simplicity. Cultivating this respect begins with the observation and appreciation of natural details. Try spending time outdoors, observe the changes in stations and the harmony of ecosystems. By respecting and understanding nature, we develop a deeper emotional intelligence that connects us with the world we live in. Self-discipline is the foundation that supports a productive and organized mind. When we have control over our actions and impulses, we are able to achieve goals and achieve success. Can you focus on what really matters? Self-discipline is what differentiates the desire from true commitment. Many successful leaders and creators have developed this ability to achieve their achievements. Self-discipline is not something born with the person. It is a daily practice, a commitment to yourself. This is what makes us work, study, and persist, even when obstacles seem great. To strengthen your self-discipline, start setting small daily goals and consistently follow them. Each effort is a victory and motivates us to move on. Over time, this practice becomes natural, helping us to maintain focus and the organization. A disciplined mind is a free mind to create and reach. Listening actively is more than just listening. It is understanding, observing, and being truly present. Active listening is a skill that demonstrates emotional intelligence and empathy and strengthens our connections. Can you listen without interrupting or judging? This ability creates deep ties and allows genuine communication. In a world where everyone wants to be heard, those who know how to hear stand out. They are able to absorb what is said, interpreting what is between the lines, and responding attentively. Psychologists say that truly listening to someone is one of the greatest gifts we can offer. To practice active listening, focus on the person in front of you and avoid distractions. Demonstrate that you are paying attention, react with facial expressions, and ask questions that show interest. Active listening is a skill that brings us and enriches us, bringing an intelligence that welcomes and respects the other. The ability to reflect on our own actions and experiences is a rare intelligence that allows us to learn and improve with each step. When we reflect, we understand our motivations and understand what moves us. Do you take time to think about your decisions? Reflection teaches us how to grow with our own mistakes. Stoic philosophy values the practice of reflection as a form of self-knowledge and personal growth. As we question our actions and thoughts, we developed a clearer view of who we are and what we want. This daily exercise is like a mirror that helps us see more sharply. To develop this skill, create the habit of reflecting at the end of each day. Analyze what worked, what can be improved, and what the learnings were. Reflection is what transforms our experiences into wisdom, allowing every moment experienced to become a lesson for the future. Curiosity about the future is a feature of visionary minds, which see possibilities beyond the present. Those who imagine tomorrow have an intelligence that drives them to create, innovate, and explore the unknown. Have you ever taken yourself dreaming about what will come? This curiosity is the first step in turning ideas into reality. Great inventors, scientists, and entrepreneurs move for curiosity about what is yet to come. This impulse makes them overcome the boundaries and seek innovations that many do not even dream. It is intelligence that allows you to glimpse a different future and work to make it possible. Cultivate this curiosity by thinking about how things can be improved, what new discoveries can bring, and how the world can evolve. Ask yourself, what if? And allow your mind to imagine new scenarios. Curiosity about the future is what moves us forward, opening doors for progress and transformation. Sense of gratitude is an emotional intelligence that allows us to appreciate what we have and live the present in the full way. Gratitude helps us see the positive side of life, even in difficult times, and makes us value every little achievement. Can you see what's good around you? Gratitude is an act of intelligence and wisdom. People who cultivate gratitude are more resilient and face the challenges with more serenity. The daily practice of thanking for simple and significant things increases our happiness and our connection with others. This sense of gratitude brings peace and strengthens our emotional intelligence. To practice gratitude, start the day thinking of 3 things you are grateful. This simple exercise changes our perspective and reminds us that, despite the difficulties, there is always something that it is worth being grateful. Gratitude teaches us to live the now with a more balanced and happy mind. The courage to be vulnerable is a form of emotional intelligence that allows us to be true and connect with others in an authentic way. Showing vulnerability is not weakness, it is a sign of confidence in yourself. Have you ever allowed yourself to be vulnerable? This courage is what creates genuine relationships. Great leaders and thinkers understand the power of vulnerability. When opened upon their weaknesses and failures, they inspire confidence and create an environment where everyone feels comfortable being authentic. This intelligence is what strengthens relationships and makes communication more honest. Cultivating this ability requires practice and a mindset of acceptance. Allow yourself to be who you are without fear of judgment. To be vulnerable is to open yourself to growth and connection, because only when we show who we really can, we connect deeply with others. This is the last and perhaps deeper form of intelligence that transforms us.